So thank you, entire Enable team, for organizing this conference. My name is Lizzie Kiama, and I will be moderating the employment session. I am the managing trustee at Disability Trust, an organization that works specifically on the rights of women and girls with disabilities in Kenya. And we all know that there are a number of barriers when it comes to persons with disabilities, particularly in Africa, when it comes to accessing employment. And now within the COVID-19 pandemic, we have seen how technology is a game changer in terms of enabling people to work from home and providing increased flexibility. And these are some of the advocacy issues that communities of persons with disabilities have continuously brought out before the coronavirus came into play. So it's important for us to have this conversation, and I am joined by an amazing group of panelists from different parts of Africa, and I will let them introduce themselves. We'll start with you, Paul Kasimu, if you don't mind introducing yourself.
Hi, everybody. My name is Paul. I work as the Chief Officer at Safaricom. Apologies for that. Thank you.
No worries. Thank you, Paul. Patience, please.
Okay. Patience Ogolo Dickson is here. I'm from Advocacy for Women with Disability Initiative, Nigeria. Well, welcome.
Thank you very much. And hopefully Alex will also join us if he hasn't already. So maybe we could start with you, Paul. Safaricom has been lauded for doing amazing work when it comes to employing persons with disabilities. And as a telecommunications company, it would be useful for us to learn from your experience in how technology has provided an opportunity for persons with disabilities to gain meaningful employment. And also, where do accessibility policies begin within Safaricom? Thank you, Paul.
I think, thank you, Liz. And I think the first thing is, before you even talk policy, the first thing we talk is about who we are and what we stand for. And therefore the bit about our DNA, our purpose. So at Safaricom, we believe that the first thing is three P's is what we speak to, which is purpose, people before profit. Our purpose is to transform lives, not only for Kenyans, but also for our people. And we are cognizant that our workforce must be a reflection of the people we serve. Hence, we continue to grow the number of people with disability within our ecosystem. So once we have what drives the organization, then bringing the accessibility to life is no longer a task or something to do, but it's the right thing to do. And we also believe it's actually a human right. Accessibility at Safaricom comes to life throughout the life cycle of the employee. So from the time of entry to the whole piece of during employment and even after leaving. And therefore, for us, the policies touch on attraction, on retention, development, and also the driving change within the organization. In this case, then, it's not just a number that we have, but it's what we believe in. And therefore, during recruitment, our policies stipulate that job adverts not only encourage people with disability to apply, but we also communicate through appropriate channels, social media platforms, the disability partner organizations. Some of the disability commitments that we've done with the Global Disability Summit, and also referrals by our own people with disability, among others. We also use digital recruitment platforms like HireView, which make it easier for applicants with mobility or other disabilities to apply into our system. And at the workplace, and this is the final part of our policies, we also ensure inclusive communication, for instance, closed captions and subtitles for hearing impaired. We've also put in place policies that support our inclusion agenda, underpinned by our overall diversity and inclusion policy. So these policies, in our case, also stress zero harassment and zero tolerance to discrimination. So that's what we do. And also that is now built into our overall HR systems, training and development, part of our induction, to ensure that those are not policies on paper, but they are lived by every person every day. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So to add, just to piggyback on what you've said, what role do you think your culture as an organization, what is the importance of organizational culture in creating an inclusive workplace based on your experience at Safaricom?
So culture is actually driven by the beliefs and the behaviors as well as assumptions that exist in an organization. And in our case, what we've said to ourselves is that technology alone can only take you this far. The only way to ensure complete inclusion is by ensuring people with disability feel welcome and valued within an organization. That can only be done through an effective organization culture. Now, we are a signatory to the Global Disability Charter for Change. And we support our staff by putting interventions in place to reduce stigma and discrimination, provide them with assistive devices and technologies, and also enhance or accelerate their economic empowerment. I served under a great leader, Bob Colimo, who used to say, diversity is being invited to the ball, inclusion is being asked to dance. The role of an inclusive culture, therefore, is to ensure that people with disability not only get employment opportunities, but once they are within that organization, the entire ecosystem embraces them and they do not experience any discrimination or bottlenecks that frustrate them on account of their disability. An inclusive culture for us is one that gives equal opportunity to the best version for people to be the best version of themselves. And therefore we harness our talent irrespective of their physical or other circumstances to be the best they can be. We've come up with something we call language, rituals, symbols, and stories. We call it LRSS, which is a case of saying the language that we use must completely drive our agenda and our ambition to be a non-inclusive organization. The rituals, the things that we do over time. So in terms of the whole piece of, if you look at our language about building an inclusive workforce, the shift in sign language to facilitate communication with the deaf community, that's something we've now embedded in every person, including our CEO, who has now also tried to learn sign language, especially for those of us who are hearing impaired. We also have some of the things that we have events that come in quarterly events, annual events, and we also celebrate those of our people who live with disability. Therefore, a number of activities that we have, and then we tell the stories. And in our case, we also say, when you remember Nelson Mandela said, if you talk to a man in a language he understands, it goes to his head. And if you speak to them in their own language, it goes to their heart. That for us is a piece of saying that culture then must be touch the heart every day. So that is where we are. And big in all this is to ensure that all individuals joining Safaricom are trained on unconscious bias. And that for us is what then brings one family.
Thank you very much, Paul. And I'm informed that Alexander has joined us, so I'll let him introduce himself before we proceed. Alexander?
Yeah, good morning, Lizzie, and good morning, everybody. My apologies for the delay in joining because of some few technical issues. I'm Alexander Bankole Williams, and currently I am the chairman of the National Advocacy Committee of the Ghana Federation of Disability Organizations, and I also serve on the Employment Committee of the same federation. Since 2012 till date, I have worked in various capacities on the issues of employment for persons with disabilities, either through CSO interventions or basically trying to have policies streamlined to factor in the needs of persons with disabilities where employment is concerned in addition to their general rights. I, in my professional capacity, serve as the head of the Assistive Technology Unit at the University of Ghana Computing Systems. These are but a few things I'll say to introduce myself. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Patience, to follow up on some of the things that Paul talked about in terms of how Safaricom has achieved success in employing persons with disabilities. I know that culture, and particularly negative cultural perceptions around disability, have influenced the extent to which individuals with disabilities can access opportunities. And also it is, studies have shown that the majority of people with disabilities have, or rather live in rural areas where we know access to the internet, for example, is not common. What are some of, barriers that you can also speak to when it comes to access to technology for persons with disabilities in Africa when we're speaking about accessing employment?
Thank you, Lizzie, and thank you, the organizers, for bringing us on board. Really, it's a very, very crucial topic we are discussing here today. It's one topic that has affected the community of persons with disability and also affected the way they live, because it's employment is key to the social development and quality of life of persons with disability. Having said that, I just want to say that barriers has always been a big issue when it comes to the community of persons with disability. Don't forget that the society is already shaped, structured in a way that people have a mindset of looking at people with disability as helpless beings, as they are not able to do things by themselves. So how can you employ somebody or people from this community? I think it's a might, and for me, I have worked in so many organizations. Within the community of persons with disability, they are very, very hardworking, very, very qualified persons with disability. But around employment and accessibility to technology we're talking about today, I think is more or less about, for first and foremost, is the stigma and the mindset. Because when you come into a workplace, do they welcome you? How do people look at you? And then do they actually think that you can do the work? Because that informs if they are going to employ you or not. How is the workplace structured? Is the workplace also structured as to inclusion of persons with disability? I remember some some blind people in Nigeria, some of them, about 4 or 5 of them, working in the Ministry of Justice, came up with an idea, because they were no longer comfortable in doing their work well. And they came up with an idea and they wrote to the ministry and said, look, we want to work. We want to do things on our own, and we want to work according to the mandates of the ministry. So you need to include us in. So these are what we want, and these are what we want in the area of digital. And at the end of the day, they provided it for them, but it took a long time. So that is the mindset. The mindset is people with disability are not just good enough to do certain things. And then when we now look at the work environment, is it friendly? That is exactly what Paul was talking about. Is it friendly? Is it a place that they welcome persons with disability? I remember some of our colleagues here, they say, oh, they are just told, stay at home, don't come to work. At the end of the month, we wire your salary to you. You don't need to come to work because we believe that you can't, what are you going to bring to the table? You have been employed, you have gone through the processes and you have been employed, but you don't need to come to work. That is negative as far as I am concerned. If a person with disability has gone through all the rigorous processes of being qualified for this position, why shouldn't the person work? Why should you now dissociate the person from working? Those are the kind of things that we talk about. Maybe is that the environment is not conducive enough. They are not really putting inclusion into it, and the provision of some of these things are not even there. Another issue is access to some of these applications in the office. For example, are the computers there? Are the computers accessible to the different kinds of disability that we have? Because if you look at most of the computers that we use in our offices, some of them don't even have applications for the blind. And then even for the deaf to follow up is a different ball game. And then when you go to the rural area, like you said, Lizzie, most of our rural area, There's no internet services there. And it's like they are cut off from the world. Because if you go to the rural community where the bulk of persons with disability actually live, especially some terrain that is actually out of this world, internet is not there yet. So we more or less, for us, they are cut off. Because until there are some phones that you have to use, and then this the set of community use a different kind of phone that cannot even accommodate some of these applications. So these are some of the things that we are talking about. But by and large, I think we are coming up, and advocacy is doing a lot, really. Advocacy is really doing a lot for us in Nigeria here. I think we are just taking a little step up by the sign into law of the Discrimination Against Persons with Disability Prohibition Act. That is a great guideline for us to actually advocate for some of these things that is just coming on board regarding persons with disability, especially the subject we are discussing now around employment. I want to talk about certain communities that cannot really work around digital when it comes to employment, which is very difficult for them, and that is the people with albinism, because they have issues with their sight and things like that. So these are the kind of people we can also advocate for, so that they can also be a part of the system. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Patience. You have, of course, brought out some key issues. And also, it would be important for us to highlight the unique experience of women and girls with disabilities, and the increased, levels of discrimination that they face in accessing, virtually all social amenities when it comes to, access to basic education, which has a direct impact on employment outcomes. Women with disabilities or girls with disabilities have lower chances of accessing education. And then that, of course, limits, their employment opportunities later on in life. And also, I think another barrier is also the type of education opportunities that young people with disabilities acquire. I am not sure the level, how marketable the skills young people with disabilities receive, particularly in segregated schools, which most of the time look at, how to elevate the impairment and not necessarily are focused on what employers are looking for. And so when these young people transition into the workplace, they're also, in a very disadvantaged position. So I think also employers, and I think Paul alluded to that within Safaricom, the importance of also building the skills of persons with disabilities in order to ensure that they are on an equal playing field. So thank you very much.
I agree with you. If I can just add, Lizzie, I agree with you absolutely, because the literacy level around technology among the community of persons with disability is very low, and it's a wake-up call for most of us, especially for us to start empowering our young ladies and our young men with disabilities to turn their direction to what is happening now, especially around the digital and technology, because that will inform if they will be employed or not, in some cases, not in all cases, as for sure.
Yeah, thank you very much. Now, Alex, I hope you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you, Lizzie.
Yes, so my question to you is, what other regions have policy or legislation that protects the rights of persons with disabilities? Is this an area where we need to have more action in Africa? Or should employers set this agenda? What are your thoughts?
Thanks once more for the opportunity, and thanks to the organizers generally for the opportunity. So in relation to the legal framework as well as policy framework around the employment situation of persons with disabilities, obviously coming from the background where we have noticed or realized over the years in both developed and developing countries that the rights of persons with disabilities cannot be upheld adequately unless there is an appropriate legal regime or policy regime to regulate matters owing to the operational models of disability that have existed in these respective countries. It has been crucial for us to be informed by what the legal framework or policy says. So when you take Article 27 of the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, it speaks specifically to the issues of employment for persons with disability. And that is a global, convention that all nations must subscribe to. The situation of low employment among marginalized groupings, first and foremost, have not only pertained to persons with disabilities in time past. So when you look at minority groups in the Americas and even in the European countries, and Australia, in years past, they have sought to address these issues using policy and legal regimes. And when you look at this, the low employment rate amongst women in time past, companies or entities in the global north have sought to actually address these issues using various legal and policy frameworks. It is therefore not surprising that in relation to persons with disabilities and their employment, apart from the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, Article 27, Article 19 of the African Disability Charter, or the African Treaty on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, also makes express provision for the right of persons with disabilities in employment in the situation in which they should be employed. What has helped in the global north regarding these established rights is the putting in place of policy frameworks, such as either you label them as diversity and inclusion policies or employment equity policies that often contains more specific measures to deal with the employment situation of persons with disabilities, taking into consideration the country-specific needs. On the African continent, South Africa has shown the way through its employment equity legislation, actually, that is had in place for several years now, that covers minority groups, including the Blacks and persons with disabilities. Unfortunately, most African countries have not gotten to the point where they make this a nationwide policy, and that is where we must be going to. Unfortunately, we cannot leave it in the hands of employers to take lead on these matters, because oftentimes, and the approach of most employers towards the situation of persons with disabilities has been the usage of the tokenist approach, which would often mean that you get a few persons with disabilities employed based on, by far and large, the charity model. And that does not take care of the crucial needs of persons with disabilities. When you look at the employment situation of persons with disabilities, it is not just about persons with disabilities that have low capacity, that have to be employed within the establishment at the low levels. We are talking about persons with disabilities with very high capacity, high competence, that need to be employed at all levels. And it is a policy framework, the relevant policy framework, that will ensure that this happens. It will ensure that reasonable accommodation becomes a matter of right and not a matter of bargain. These, among several others, are what we have to do. And unfortunately, we cannot just have policy frameworks, a one-pager policy framework that seeks to deal with this thing. These issues, but we need policy frameworks that seeks to first and foremost establish what the measures are, and also a regulatory framework within that policy framework that seeks to deal with successful implementation of these policies to ensure that they achieve the purpose for which they have been established. These will be my views on the question, and I am thinking that if we are able to move the advocacy for various nations to actually adopt such policies and regulatory frameworks, we would move beyond the talk and see actual implementation of the employment of persons with disabilities.
Thank you very much, Alexander. And you have spoken to, or rather responded to the second part of the question, where I was asking whether employers should be the ones setting this agenda. And I think also bringing what Paul said earlier, you know, the role of subconscious bias in how we implement policies or how we perceive disability plays an important role. So how can we begin to, or how can we help or support employers and guide them in creating sustainable employment opportunities for persons with disabilities? From where you started from, you know, the role of policy or legal frameworks and actual implementation. How do we support them?
Yes, so when you look at the Article 19 of the African Disability Charter, Section 3, Clause 3, sorry, it actually speaks to the issue of ensuring that there are relevant incentives for such employers. We need to understand the employer from different perspectives. One, there is a willing employer that wants to take on board persons with disabilities but lack the know-how on how to ensure that these people are adequately catered for. So you need relevant support mechanisms in place for such employers, so that should they want to take on board persons with disabilities, how they can make their environment friendly, how they can ensure that policies are tweaked in favor of persons with disabilities within the job setting. They have ample knowledge to do so. Again, you need to ensure that the employers are being met halfway, because we cannot run away from the fact that taking on board certain categories of persons with disabilities, so far as reasonable accommodation is concerned, comes with a great deal of financial input or monetary input. Therefore, it is important that state parties ensure that employers do get some incentives to cushion them. The good thing is that these mechanisms, by way of incentives, are only entry point mechanisms, because oftentimes when the employer is able to take on board a person with disability and actually realizes that the person with disability has brings on board a greater input, so far as the organization is concerned, they are prepared to foot every other bill. And I'll give you a quick example. So the government of Ghana from 2017 decided that persons with disabilities should man the toll booths on the highways of the country. It said it will give half of the opportunities of manning the toll booths to persons with disabilities. The state has actually realized that at the point where persons with disabilities are manning those toll booths, the state is making more profit than it used to in the past. So the federation does not have to go on its knees, literally begging the state to keep this policy and this particular measure running. So the employers have to be met in that manner. And it is important that whatever incentives are giving practical meanings, and these incentives are also formed to take into consideration the real cost of what it takes to employ a person with disability. Again, I'll give you a quick example. So that when you say, when you look at a rule and one of our legislation framework in Ghana, it actually says that the employer should take a tax rebate per the income of the person with disability they have employed. Now, that would mean if you employ a person with disability and that person's income is quite low, the relief or the incentive for the employer is also quite low and not encouraging enough for the employer to even go as far as providing the relevant support mechanisms for the person with disability, especially if that employer is middle to low level employer. So if we are able to do this, in addition to ensuring effective implementation of whatever policy of legislative framework, I'm sure that employers would be better off employing persons with disabilities.
Thank you very much, Alexander. You've talked about value addition, which I think is something that is important to employers. But Paul, since we have you here, Would you like to comment on this? How can employers receive support, or what kind of support do employers need to ensure that we're increasing employment opportunities for persons with disabilities?
I think the first thing is to first agree, this is not a thing to do. It's a human right. It's a basic right to especially reflect the profile of the organizations you represent, your customers and the country. And therefore, that's the first thing that you say, we need not to be convincing ourselves whether this is the thing to do. The second part is about going beyond the legislation. Yes, it's 5% or ensuring that we click the box or we tick the box. And to, I think, Alexander's point also, it has been proven a diverse organization drives productivity, and you find you actually grow and innovation. So I think the starting point, and this is why we signed up to the piece around stigma and discrimination, because it starts with even the families where these kids are coming from, where they're locked up and they're not even taken, as I think it was also patients who spoke, they're not taken to school because they have a disability or one form or the other. So I think organizations should now partner with the wider communities to start driving or reducing instances of stigma and discrimination. Linked to that is the economic empowerment pillar, which we picked. And this is around developing people with the right skills. Because if the schools can be equipped, if people with disability at the very basic go through the right skills, then they compete effectively with their colleagues who don't have any form of disability. So that would be the other piece that there is. And then the assistive devices, because I think organizations can go a step further, and it's both physical, but also digital support to others. What I think is working in Kenya is where we are coming together as a collective for the different players. So we have, like following the Global Disability Summit, we got the government because of the policy piece. We got the county governments because of the implementation, and also the data, because we need that data. And then we also brought corporate and disability partnering organizations to come together, including academia. So that forum helps us look at who is doing what, how do we support each other. And I think if we did that and offered opportunities to people with disability, it will start reducing that feeling that somebody with a disability is a cost, and they are not.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I agree on the usefulness of partnerships and partnerships, multi-stakeholder partnerships. So we have another question around the impact of COVID, and I feel like this can go all around. I'm sure, Safaricom, you have something to say in terms of how COVID has impacted employment. And I think there are a number of best practices that we can learn from you, because you have been incorporating technology way before the COVID-19 pandemic. But also Patience and Alexander, feel free to chime in. How has COVID-19 affected employment for persons with disabilities?
I think the first thing is just accessibility, and that's the biggest part, where we discovered that we have a provision or a policy where we provide door-to-door transport for people with disability. Now, with all this, then it was a case of saying no movement, and therefore they had to then be domiciled in their homes. And what we did first was to focus on their well-being. And their well-being was their protective gear. If it's somebody who is visually impaired, we are telling people to sneeze using their elbows, and yet now that is the place where they hold for assistance. So it's more of also trying to educate them and educate those around them. In terms of also, if you look at now mobility, we discovered the other piece is around how do you enable them to be connected. So we had to provide connectivity, we had to provide them with their laptops, and also ergonometric seats so that they could also sit comfortably. Because truth be told, none of our homes were set, or very few homes are set with an office in mind. So I think that was the first piece that we did. The education, the 24/7 piece, but we have also said we have a Thrive program where we also talk about how do we ensure we have the mind, body, heart, and soul together. So collaborative events, we are now doing some of those, including fun events to make sure that everybody feels included, but also support them in their performance. I think the point that we are making is that we want to leave no one behind. That is our big aspect, and we do regular staff surveys to ask what could we do differently. And part of that has been targeted specifically to the people with disabilities. So a variety of things, well-being, enablement, and ensuring they're also productive are what we've now focused on.
Thank you very much, Paul. Patience, do you want to add to that?
Yes, I just want to add to say that during COVID-19, many persons with disability were actually hit, and then their issue it now aggravated their issues because of the barriers around the issues of persons with disability. We had a little survey done during this pandemic among communities of persons with disability, and then we found some very interesting responses around livelihood and employment. We were told to stay at home. That was the biggest one. And then because we were told to stay at home, it was a bit difficult to be isolated. Yes, persons with disability have always been isolated in a way, quote and unquote, they have always been isolated, but this is a different way of doing it. And then somebody said, I was the first to be kicked out of my office because I have a disability, because people were staying at home for a long time. And so the office couldn't afford to just continue to pay salaries when work is not done. So they decided to lay off staff. And then I was the first to be laid off. I feel, according to her, it's because of my disability, because they feel that, oh, there's no point bringing her on board. And so she was actually laid off. Then when I came home, another said, I have a breadwinner, my family, my auntie who is always taking care of me. Unfortunately, COVID-19 came and she was told to stay at home. And for like 3-4 months now, we have not had any salary. And so I am affected as a person with disability myself, because my breadwinner is no longer working and he's no longer getting any income. So these are some of the practical issues that we saw during, the findings of our survey that we did. So it's actually aggravated the way that persons with disability are living and around employment. And then if you also look at, many persons with disability are actually into the informal sector, because most of them are self-employed. Most of them can't go out. I mean, they are not readily employed because of some of the factors that we have just raised. And because of that, they are told to stay at home. So their livelihood and their income were just off. And so it was not easy for them to take care of themselves. And then don't forget that many persons with disability also depend on medication and things like some of them also have underlying sicknesses that they need to also go to the hospital, the health facilities to check once a while and things like that. This was also affected as well. And because there was no longer income for some of them, it was difficult for them to get medications, and it was also difficult for them to access health facilities and all that. And don't also forget that women with disability are adversely affected. And then especially the girls, they were also a kind of exposed to gender-based violence during this COVID-19. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Patience. I'm glad you brought out the issue around gender-based violence, because particularly within the COVID-19 pandemic, we saw increased rates of sexual violence among communities of women and girls with disabilities, mainly because of the isolation measures that we were asked to take into consideration. So that was a big issue in the community. Alexander, would you like to add?
Yeah, thanks, Lizzie. I think I'll just chip in quickly that first and foremost, of course, we also had a survey done in Ghana, and yes, there were some persons with disabilities who lost their jobs. There are some who had their salaries reduced, and they attributed it to their disability. And but for us, even as I will come back to the situation of employment, but the additional thing we found out was that government interventions that sought to, for instance, provide cooked meal for persons with disabilities did not meet the needs of some persons with disabilities who had dietary restrictions. So cooked meal was an inappropriate intervention for such persons. But most essentially, because a lot of persons with disabilities actually live from hand to mouth, they do menial jobs, etc. Some have to go out to beg. Because of the situation of COVID, they lost these opportunities, and their humanity and dignity was significantly reduced. And for me, that is turning back the hand of time. And that is something we need to pay attention to. Having said so, COVID has also brought the need to work a lot more online. And as I spoke about policy issues, I did not mention the essence of web content accessibility guide and the role it will play in today's world, even in the employment field, because there are a lot more persons with disabilities who are limited to working online now, or who are compelled to conduct business online currently. And if that space is not made readily accessible or adequately accessible, it will take them out of the virtual space, just as it took them out of the physical space. And I think it is something we should pay good attention to, because it is easy to make the virtual space accessible. It doesn't cost much. All you require is the appropriate knowledge. So we need to make sure knowledge on making the virtual space accessible is available for various web content providers or digital access providers. And for me, if we are able to do this, we will be able to increase the situation of persons with disabilities getting a lot more employed than we used to have employment in a physical environment. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alexander. And great point about, you know, the reality of digital skills among communities of persons with disabilities. It's been a gray area, and there has not been a lot of investments. I know for us at Disability, we had begun training young women with disabilities on digital skills. And when the COVID-19 pandemic happened, we had to shift our mode of training, and we ended up, you know, investing in a learning management system. So, but there's so much learning in that, because the learning management system was not enough. We needed to also invest in facilitation. And also, as Paul said, we also needed to support with data bundles. We needed to support with equipment, because not everyone has this. But it is important for us, if we truly want to ensure that individuals with disabilities are accessing employment and are using technology, we have to start investing in this area. And also, we cannot move away from influencing policies around this space. So I am told we have to wind up our session. So I wonder if we have any last thoughts, any parting words, very brief. We'll start with you, Patience.
Yeah, I just one thing I just want to say is that we need to, I think most of us have already mentioned it, but we need to just make the government buy into technology for persons with disabilities, because that will help a lot. I know that a lot of things are going on, but we still have lots of discrimination against persons with disability, because many governments and decision makers are not really prioritizing issues of persons with disabilities. So around digital and technology concerning persons with disability, this is key if we really want to move forward. And of course, we have also mentioned that persons with disability need to move with time when it comes to digital and technology.
Thank you very much. Alexander, do you want to give your parting words?
Yeah, I think that the employment situation of persons with disabilities generally make a very good economic sense. According to the ILO, nations are losing at least 7% of their GDP because of the unemployment situation of persons with disabilities. So governments, private, and all other stakeholders should take this matter highly important and make sure, particularly within the digital era, that the employment situation of persons with disabilities, both in the formal and informal sector, is given a significant facelift so that we are all better off in the long run. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Paul, your parting words?
Two things. I think I'll say leader has to prioritize this as a matter of a strategic item. In Safaricom, we have put targets at the very highest to say we want to be 5% of our workforce being people with disability. Currently, we are 2.4%. 130 of us have disability, and 12% of those 130 are in managerial positions. So I think that's one thing about where leadership leads is a great thing. And in terms of now the bit about partnership, that needs to be also accelerated. I find it hard when people play their position. So if we partner, then it becomes easy. So I'll say leadership, partnerships, I think will land us there. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And this has been an amazing opportunity for me. It has been a lot of fun to moderate this panel. Thank you for making it easy. And with that, I will close this session. Thank you, guys.